welcome to the Budget Show with Business Standard. My name is Kanishka Gupta, and today I'm joined in by our in-house experts, Subin Sinha.
Hi.
And Vishal Menon.
Hi.
Until now in the show, we talked about what the budget may have for our taxpayers, farmers, investors, big corporations, and such like. Now, today we'll talk about what the budget may have for our sports players, our athletes. So, let me begin with asking this question. What can we expect in the budget for India's sports infrastructure?
Great. Actually, between the two of us, Vishal is the real expert. I'm just a pretender because we need two panelists other than you, Kanishka. So, what I'm going to do during the course of the next whatever number of minutes we are shooting is that I will focus on the broader things. I'm going to duck all the specific questions you ask. Okay. And the big broad question is, how important is sports for a nation? Right. For a country that aspires to get a seat at the high table at the global stage, how important is to be a winner in the sporting arena? And when I say that, I mean not just cricket and tennis and hockey, etc., but also Olympics mainly, as well as the Asian Games. Now, if we go back a little, and if you look at the history of the modern history of nations, the rise of nearly every nation was accompanied by its rise as a sporting superpower. What used to be at the Olympics, Vishal, you will recall very well, it used to be USA versus USSR when we had a USSR, which got disintegrated, of course. Much later, China. As China has risen to superpower status, look at what it is doing in the Olympics and other things. So the question we need to ask is, how important is victories or achievements in the sporting arena for us as a nation? Is sports a public good? Right, because if we acknowledge it as a public good, then the government and the budget can play a role there. I will stop here. I'll let you and Vishal come in. But I think that is the question. See, my answer is, of course, yes, because of the background I just gave. If we have these aspirations, we have to acknowledge, recognize sports as a public good and support it.
Just talking about China, what you said, it reminds me of one article I had read long time back, written by Sharda Ugra, a very eminent sports writer. Yes. She was working for the India Today back then. Yes. She had gone to cover the Athens Olympics in 2004. So by that time, Beijing was already back the rights to host the 2008 Olympics. Yes. So the closing ceremony, it was like the passing on of the baton, so to speak. So that time, there was this 2-minute silence, and then this 10 or 11-year-old Chinese girl, she starts singing in Chinese in front of that packed stadium in Athens. So all these Olympic athletes and the media journalists, they're all there. So in that article, she says she couldn't understand what this girl was singing because it was in Chinese. So she just patted the journalist sitting next to her, who was from, I think, China. So she asked her, "What is this girl singing? Can you just translate it for me?" And this journalist says, what she's saying is, in 4 years' time, China will come and win all the medals in Olympics. It will also conquer the entire world. Wow. So beware of China. Be very, very afraid of China.
That was the song.
That was a song sung by a 11-year-old.
Astonishing.
They could have easily got a Chinese equivalent of a Lata Mangeshkar or a Asha Bhosle to sing it.
True.
But just the sheer arrogance, almost confidence of China to say, boss, we are going to conquer not just Olympics. And then what happened subsequently, they became the world power.
So I think this confidence comes from a solid, preparation and backing.
Vishal called it arrogance.
it is.
Being an Indian, I guess. Yes. But this confidence comes from a strong backing and preparation.
Almost militant.
Yes.
So we are not reached that militant level where we are just like that. The whole ecosystem in schools is like, how can we produce athletes at the school level?
That was my question. How viable it is for someone, to, let's say, take sports as a serious career?
Yes. In fact, to add to Vishal's arrogance point and your confidence point, I will say, eye on the future. They got an 11-year-old
Yes.
to sing
yes,
it.
right.
They did not probably get a current champion,
Exactly.
which they could have.
Yes,
Exactly.
They have
yes.
several.
Exactly.
But someone who might become a champion in the future. And talking about this militancy that you are talking about, but you of course mean it positively,
In a
not,
positive way.
not
Yeah.
shooting.
No.
Yeah. So in that, you of course USSR also had this entire system when they used to churn out athlete after athlete,
Almost on an
gymnasts.
assembly line.
It was an assembly line. I do take that point that we need a system.
And just to elaborate on that point further, we like for instance in cricket, we have this National Cricket Academy that's set up in Bangalore. It's reaping in dividends. It's like this world-class ecosystem that's there in Bangalore. So in Olympic sports also we have this Sai facilities in Patiala, Bangalore.
Yes.
But in this budget and previous budgets also we have seen like we need to have a world-class in structure like where you get everything under one roof.
Yes.
Like for training for athletes, nutrition, everything under that, doctors, coaches, everyone. That's how you build that ecosystem, and that is, I think, the way we need to train for the future.
Yes.
And then bidding for Olympics also, that's another aspect our Prime Minister keeps saying,
right.
bidding
Yes.
for Olympics.
Yes.
Right now, sitting here right now, 17th July, 9 days to go for the Paris Olympics.
Yes.
I don't think that we are ready. That's the honest answer I can give. But what we really need to do is focus on that city which we are going to host
Post it.
as the
So first identify the city
identify the city
and do it right away.
right away.
Yeah.
For instance, before this 2021 Olympic, it was scheduled to be held in 2020, but because of COVID. So on 2021, by the time 2021 Olympics started, we knew Paris was going to host, and by that time, all the other countries were like making the preparations to bid. And USA, they were clear that Los Angeles is going to be the city. So 8 years in advance, there was clarity in their minds that it's going to be Los Angeles. So now we are in 2024. If we want to bid, or we have serious aspirations of hosting 2036 Olympics by 2028, by the Los Angeles Olympics starts, we need to have a clear idea of which is that city going to be in India that is going to host the Olympics, and build that ecosystem around it, the Olympics village, and bring all the stakeholders in place to get the ball moving.
True.
Now, since we also hosted Commonwealth,
Yes.
right?
We did.
I don't want to say how that was.
No.
Yes.
No. There are some not so good memories.
Yes. So, what I think, what are the key lessons, or what were the key lessons that we learned from that, or we haven't yet?
See, the lessons would be that how do we support athletes and sports people when they can become champions, say 20 years from now or 15 years from now, right? So everybody is talking about Neeraj Chopra these days. In fact, I read an article somewhere that after Neeraj's gold medal at the last Olympics, government support for track and field has increased, right? Similarly, we have supported people in other ways. I think the 2020 budget had some exemption on income tax for sporting prize money of international events won in India. Yeah, all those details I don't even remember very well.
Yeah.
Then I think gold medals are exempt from customs duty, or gold attracts customs duty. You would remember, you probably wouldn't remember, when Ravi Shastri won this Audi car in 1985 at the Benson and Hedges,
Australia.
that car was made exempt from customs duty. So we do these things. What we need is a broad thrust blanket scheme focusing on future champions. Neeraj Chopra, if we support him by tax exemptions or whatever, or anyway, how much can anyone help him? He's already a champion.
He's already a champion. Exactly.
We should be looking for a Neeraj Chopra who will become Neeraj Chopra 15 years from now.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
And that, I will give the example of Italian tennis. Am I speaking too much?
No.
Okay. Cut me off whenever needed.
No.
So recently, Italy has seen a surge of male tennis players in particular. Right? Yannick Sinner, first Italian man to be ranked number 1. There is Berrettini and my current favorite, Lorenzo Musetti, who lost in the semi-final. He has this artistic game.
Yeah.
Right. There is a rise of all these tennis players because Italy has focused on the lower level tennis. So tennis is now full of challenger level tournaments. And that is how you build champions, by investing in the future. No, you mentioned cricket.
Yeah.
Go on, go on.
No, I was reminded of Sumit Nagal.
Sumit
Like,
Nagal, yeah.
yeah,
By the way,
another-
he won his match yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the Sweden Open.
Sweden Open.
Yes.
So like this classic example, Sumit Nagal like plowing his way through ATP challenges, no financial backing, almost going bankrupt. He's the sort of a guy, now he's like worked his way up, risen through the ranks. He's the sort of a guy, there'll be a lot of other Sumit Nagals we have not reported of, we have not heard of. So all these obscure, so-called obscure, these are the guys who needs that exemption, so to speak, rather than a Neeraj Chopra or a PV Sindhu who already have like
Yes.
truckloads of endorsement deals.
And my biggest peeve, and I'm sure this is shared by many other people, we won the T20 World Cup of cricket. After that, apart from the prize money, how many more crores have been given to the players? 125 crore, 125 crore, and then Maharashtra government, etc., etc. Trust me, these are already super rich people we are talking about. If we give them a few more crore, what material difference will it make to their life? But the same money earned from cricket, and BCCI is doing a good job of monetizing cricket.
Yeah.
But if that money can be channeled in other direction, the BCCI pays zero tax.
Zero tax,
The
Yeah.
world's richest sporting
Richest sport.
body,
But why so?
because it is registered, I think, under Section 11.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah, Section
Right. It is apparently
Okay.
a not-for-profit body.
Okay. That's
Okay.
new for me.
But can we not channel some of the money in other directions?
Yes.
I mean, let's take the example of Rahul Dravid. What a gesture, saying no to more money. Can we not have more Rahul Dravids?
You spoke about Rahul Dravid. I mean, I just want to make more broaden the spectrum, so to speak, and to talk about having more training, to have more coaches at the Olympic level. Because all these athletes, Neeraj Chopra and all these other track and field athletes, they go to foreign, train abroad, and they all have foreign athletes as coaches. So why can't we have? That's what I'm talking about. That whole ecosystem of having this world-class system where we also train
Yes.
former Indian athletes to become coaches. That is also another aspect that needs to be, for that funding
Yes.
has to be earmarked in the budget.
Right.
Now, since you mentioned about BCCI not paying tax, I want to know, do like these athletes, all their trophies and incomes from international games, is this taxable?
I think it is taxable,
It is.
isn't it?
It is. There's a grey area there.
There
but
is a gray area. Yeah.
yes.
But Kanishka, what I would like to emphasize again and again is that how can we help people when they have not started earning money from sporting events? For instance, let me give you just one random example. A Bharat Ratna awardee gets to travel first class in Air India for life. Okay, but of course, that was the case when Air India was under the government. Now it is under the Tata Group,
Tata.
but I don't think Tata would have discontinued, given the
Yeah.
branding opportunity
Yeah,
here, right? But can we not make it possible through the budget in this case, or any other government means, that younger people who say take the train, can we not make train travel free if they meet certain criteria?
Yes, even for nationals and all those
National- for
tournaments.
nationals.
Yeah.
Unless you have become a champion, you lead a very difficult life. And the biggest difficulty in that is the uncertainty. Because nobody knows, like you mentioned, Kanishka, can it become a career? If you take up medicine, you will know. You might not land up in the top hospital, you may not become the most famous surgeon, but you will have a good life
And decent living.
and decent living.
Yeah.
Right? In sports, you never know. We can name countless people who even showed promise and then just disappeared. What has become of them? The
Yes.
uncertainty has to be dealt with.
So, what do you think? How can government address that?
Again, it's all grassroots level funding has to be increased.
Yes.
That's the core. And like we saw, like last every Olympic cycle, government puts in a certain amount of money. Like yesterday, I was reading a story which says like some 1600% increase
Yes.
compared to last Olympic cycle. like some 470 crore. The previous Olympic cycle was some 6 crore or something, which was hardly anything. So there is that thrust. The government is also trying to do its bit, but it has to start at the bottom.
And what we can also do, Vishal and Kanishka, is probably get the private sector involved. Some of the large companies are very keen.
Tatas
Tata
are there,
Group, for
yes.
example, has a thriving sports system, and Mahindra also, etc. They keep investing in sports. But can the budget and the government give certain incentives to the private sector to come up and invest a little more, be it through CSR activities or anything? Can we incentivize the private sector to support sports at the grassroots level? We really don't need to support Neeraj Chopra anyway.
And Sindhu also, like even
And Sindhu also.
and for instance in badminton, like full marks to Gopichan for creating that.
Yes, he did.
For Indian badminton.
But that is individual initiative.
Individual initiative. Now the point I'm trying to make is 2012 when Saina Nehwal won the bronze medal. There was this big thing. Oh, the Indian badminton has finally arrived, and she came. She was felicitated and all that. And then in Hyderabad and other parts of India, we were saying now there's another girl coming up, rising through the ranks. Isko dekhoge to Saina Nehwal ko bhul jaoge. And that was PV Sindhu, and she proved it. Right. But now after PV Sindhu, who? That is another. I mean, there are a lot of these younger talent emerging.
Yes.
But there's that one particular face who can be the next PV Sindhu. We still don't have it, despite having that ecosystem. Whereas China, if you go to China, they already have like 20, 30 waiting in the wings.
Yes. Same in tennis. Leander Pace won a bronze, which I think we won
96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Atlanta.
Right. Atlanta was 98, 96. One of those, okay. But after that, we have Sumit Nagal in the fray now. But look at the gap.
Yes.
Why couldn't we not foster a system of, tennis player after tennis player contending for medals?
Yeah.
So more funding and support at grassroots level is what
we need to catch them young.
Yes. All right. On that note, we wrap up this episode of the Budget Show with Business Standard. Stay tuned to keep yourself updated.
Thank you. It was great fun.
Thanks.